Somewhere beyond the sea, somewhere waiting for me, my lover stands on golden sands and watches the ships that go sailing.
We left Charleston today at about 2 o'clock on a high tide, and as we moved towards the entrance to the harbor, the tide started going out, and so we left on an outgoing tide, which was perfect, but we had to wait until 2 in the afternoon for the tide. And we decided to go offshore rather than do the ICW, and we've got light winds, seas are like 2 feet, and winds are, they've been 10 to 15 knots all day. They're down to about 10 now. And we're making a beeline just outside the shoals for Cape Fear. If the winds allow, we'll go into Cape Fear. If they won't, we'll go around Frying Pan Shoals en route to Beaufort. Oh, there was a really cool little yawl that went past us. It was a veterans thing. Looked like they were veterans with PTSD or something. But they were all sailing together, and it was a small little boat. They were sailing around Charleston Harbor with red sails.
It was also sailing jib and jigger.
Yep, they were going jib and jigger.
Which is one of our favorite ones.
Yes, it is. So, tonight we had a little bit of excitement right about sunset. The water pump stopped working, so Hannah lost water pressure right about the time she wanted to start washing dishes. So Hannah was not particularly pleased. We lifted up the lazarette right over there, and that's where our water pump is. And we messed with some of the wires, and we found that the pressure switch was stuck in the closed position. So that means it was not allowing any water to go by. So we manually pumped some water into a bucket by Sam just shorting the switch out directly. And under the sink, we have a manual pump that I put in 3 years ago. And it has a choice of either a 3-gallon drinking water or coming straight from the tanks. So first we filled this, and then we filled it with our 3-gallon drinking water. We got the pump going, and then we turned on the knob below the table in the water manifold, and now we have manual water as well. But one of the things we did with the pump is I held my thumb over the hose, and we just let it overpressure a little bit, and apparently when it did that, it popped the switch free, and so now it's working again. So we have water pressure again. I love these old pumps that we have.
We still got to replace it.
We'll probably replace the pressure switch when we get.
But this is a relatively simple thing to fix.
Yes. But it does raise a point about electrical systems versus manual systems. So always have a manual backup. One of the things I did a long time ago, Hannah insisted, and we had it on our previous boat, we did it on this one. We wanted a manual pump to be able to pump water out of the tank. So, the wind's dying, by the way, that's what you hear up there. We're down to about 10 knots, and we're making like 3. So, anyway, that's it for tonight. That was all the excitement.
It is 3 a.m. Both Dad and I are up right now. Dad's getting more tobacco for his pipe. Because of how light the wind is, we're at like 6 knots. We've been doing a lot of hand steering. Just load up the wheel with whichever direction you want it to go. And it'll go that direction eventually. You watch up at the wind vane. You watch your heading. You watch the North Star. Rinse, repeat. There's nothing really to see outside of maybe the moon. It's been a very wet night so far. But that's our due today. Tonight, isn't it? To not sleep. Anyway, that's just what's been happening.
Well, we are officially drifting. It's about 3:30 or 4 in the morning. The moon's up, it's really pretty. And there's a lot of dew everywhere. Everything is super wet. And
We have no wind.
we have no wind. It says we have 6 knots. We don't have 6 knots. We're making 0 and we're drifting at 1.2 knots in the Gulf Stream on the edge of it. But Venus is just up, so we're becalmed. Can't fill the sails, we're just drifting. Well, we ran out of wind. We're about, let me see. We're about 30 miles off of Myrtle Beach. And we were going to go around the shoals. We were sailing, we lost the wind again. This is the second time we've lost the wind. And so when we took down the main, because we were gonna motor, we found part of the main halyard was worn through. So I think the portion that goes right over the sheave at the top was rubbing on something and wearing. I'm not sure where, but it was about 20% through, which means that hoisting the main, I could break it. So we're not gonna hoist the main from here on out until we get it fixed.
After a little while motoring today, we have made it on approach to Cape Fear. Because we're going to go on the inside to get around Frying Pan Shoals. We've kind of planned our speed so that we should be at the harbor entrance at around daybreak. And I am taking the first night shift. I intended to take a nap earlier, but we had issues with sails and a bunch of discussions were happening. So I'm staying up until we get close to the harbor entrance so that Dad can be awake when it comes time to actually navigate the channel. So we're on our approach. We've got about an hour until 4 a.m. when shift change happens, keeping an eye out for buoys. But I was a little worried because we are going between a shipping area and a cargo ship anchorage where cargo ship does seem to be anchored. I'm pretty sure I've set a safe course through here and I'm watching both the chart and the outside. That's what's happening right now.
Morning, everybody. We're just getting ready to come into Cape Fear at sunrise. It's a pretty sunrise up there. Also, there's a bunch of storm clouds out there. It's probably good that we weren't going around Frying Pan Shoals this morning. I think that was serendipity. I don't know if you can see, but there's rain coming down there, and the clouds are pretty dark. We arrived just a little bit before sunrise, about an hour. So we made a big, about 1 hour circle out here and now we're coming in at sunrise. The tide is going out, so we're coming in against the tide, which is unfortunate.
It is 6:30. The wind has kept going so far. From what I can tell on the forecast, our wind is probably going to die around 1 a.m. But hopefully we can get past that point before it dies and leaves us stripped. If we can keep even this pace and some wind, we can ride this wind, even if it shifts to a tailwind, all the way to Boatyard. Good evening. It is, I believe, the 23rd, and about 20 minutes ago we made the final dive of this particular trip. We're now on approach course with Beaufort. That's probably about to see Beaufort in about 4 hours. The plans we had worked, the winds lined up, and now we are on our way in.
Good morning, everybody. It's 6:19 in the morning. We're just at the mouth of the Beaufort Inlet. Unfortunately, the timing is not going to be good for the tides. We'll be coming in on an outgoing tide with an incoming wind. So we're expecting it to be pretty spicy. We had good winds all night long, about 13 knots, so we made good time coming from Wrightsville Beach. This was a time when it actually worked according to plan and schedule, but doesn't always work that way, but today it did. Anyway, I guess that's about it for now. The seas are pretty calm, winds are nice. We're motor sailing in to the beginning. It takes about an hour to get in the inlet itself and into Beaufort. After that, we'll be taking the ICW up to Oriental. So an interesting thing happened last night. There was a light on the horizon, and it wasn't moving, and we were getting closer. And it still wasn't moving, and we were getting closer. Pretty soon it turned into multiple lights. It was obviously something very big, and it was on a collision course. So, it turns out that what we almost ran into was an aircraft carrier. There was an aircraft carrier that was heading directly towards us. Our AIS is not working right now since Charleston. They didn't have an AIS on, and there were helicopters all over the place. So finally, we got their attention with the giant spotlight. And they turned their AIS on for just a second, and then turned it off again. So, just to let us know they were there and they saw us, I guess. But it looks like that, I'm not sure exactly what they were doing. I'm not going to say exactly where they were, but there was an aircraft carrier, and it was really cool to see. Those things are huge. Anyway. Also, how was I going to say? Oh, yes. So, the valve arm that we have, which is our auxiliary charger, is being intermittent. And so, while we were motoring yesterday, we thought it was charging, and it wasn't. So we ran our house batteries down pretty well and had to run the generator for a good, I don't know, about 4 hours to get it charged back up again. So I want to know why this bow mars is intermittent. It might have just gotten too hot running for a very, very long time. But this morning, I turned the engine on, and of course it's working flawlessly. So I don't know. I hate intermittent problems. But that was what our night was last night. The Beaufort Inlet was easiest I've ever seen. The waves maybe were 2 feet at that. And so it was a very nice entrance, but there's a huge Navy ship in here, so we're going to go investigate.
Like and subscribe, but what we really like is comments. It's so fun and wonderful to hear your comments.
Thank you, and good night.
So, when anchoring today, we discovered something. When we tried to go in reverse for a second pass at anchoring, drive shaft broke.
I guess that was the vibration we were feeling.
It's not a good vibration.
We could have found a worse place for it to break.
Yep. I had a premonition about this. I was worried about it, and we made it. But every moment that I didn't use the engine and I insisted on sailing.
Anyway, we will be fixing this now, adding it to the list. Okay.
There goes our sail.
Well, it got wind again.
Yeah.
Anyway, GoPro, stop recording.
So the old one was in really bad shape. This was broken through, and the other one was just literally corroded to
Green dust.
Right? So it got salt water in it. Salt water destroys this stuff. Okay, there we go. That should work.